We got the time I got stabbed story time, right? And it wasn't like a horrible stabbing, stitches, anything like that, right? Like my life was not in danger, but it was definitely scary and wild and not needed. So let's talk about it, right? First of all, this is like 3, 4 years ago. Well, more like 4 years ago when I was 16, right? And that was like the peak of me doing bad things. Like I was taking drugs that were not good, hanging out with some really sketchy people and a lot older people, and just not doing great things overall, right? Well, on this day, I wasn't doing anything too bad, to be honest. I was just going over to my friend's house and chilling. Like, there wasn't even anything bad going on. I think at the worst, it would be me sitting there smoking while other people do worse stuff and me wishing I could do it, you know? Like, that would be the worst I could do at this kid's house. So I head over there, and a little background story about this dude. He's super cool, right? And he might watch this. If he does and he realizes I'm talking about him, I hope you know that I think you're cool, right? But this kid at the time, or this dude, was dating this crazy girl, right? Like she was insane. And, you know, I don't want to be mean, but she literally stabbed me, so I don't really give a fuck. This bitch was crazy, right? And there were a few other times that things happened that like gave signs that this would happen eventually, but I didn't check them right. But this is like the shit that would happen. Like we'd be over there, and this girl would just be like he would my friend would just be trying to play his game, try to smoke a bowl, try to do literally anything, and this girl would like spaz out, right? And not even like on him, but she'd spaz out like on herself, and then she would just start like screaming. You could tell she had like mental things, right? But it was some shit like I went to rehab, you know what I mean? I've seen a lot of people that have been through a lot of things, a lot of different things, and I've seen people that like I've seen things you wouldn't expect to see, where you see that and you're like, whoa, I don't know if I'll see that again in life, you know? Like, how does that happen to someone? But this girl, let me tell you, I never met anyone as crazy as her. And I mean that in the most sincere way. This girl was crazy, dude. Like, I'm trying to think of examples without being like too harsh or too mean, like being too specific where they could ever see it. But let me tell you, like we were in the car one time, right? And we were driving all the way to this girl's house to pick her up so she could hang out with our friend, right? And she lived far, like 20, 30 minutes. We're on the way back, and just because we didn't put on a song she wanted, like something like that little, right? Like I can't remember the exact thing it was, but it was like something so slight like that. Like here you can like it could be the littlest thing, like a song, or like let's say you ask for an airhead, right? Like someone has airheads and you get handed a blue one instead of a red one, or a red one instead of a blue one. It was like that, dude. It was the slightest thing, and she would just go nuts. She would like scream and cry, and like she had all this baby stuff too. I can't remember what the term for it is, right? But a lot of things happened to her when she was young, so she felt more comfortable being like a little kid. So she would just walk around like a pacifier and stuff. Just some odd shit, right? But I'm not judging. Everybody goes through stuff, handles it differently. But the only reason I'm talking about this is because she stabbed me, dude. So let's talk about that day, right? So I go over to his house, and like I said, I'm just chilling there, hanging out, smoking. And I also brought another friend of mine, right? So it's me, my friend, this dude, and then his crazy girlfriend, right? But on this day, she was completely chill. She actually gave me Smarties when I walked in, right? I was like, that's cool. Usually you're like screaming and yelling. Like, I didn't say this to her, but I'm thinking it. I'm like, well, at least you're giving me Smarties. That's better than, being punched or yelled or something. And she would just be like hitting our friend, you know what I mean? Not like, I mean, I don't want to say not in like a abusive way, but it was definitely messed up. It was like, because it wasn't like, she wasn't like trying to make him feel bad. She was like, you piece of shit, hit him, you know what I mean? But it was definitely negative. It was like, something's wrong with me, you know what I mean? And then he would just be right next to her, like some weird shit, right? So we're hanging out there, and it probably wasn't a good idea, but anytime he would take drugs, she would always ask for it, right? And he would usually say no because it was hard stuff, but I can't remember if it was either acid or mushroom. It was some psychedelic, right? And she asked for a little bit, and he said yes. And usually he knew pretty well because she had a lot of mental things going on, which we all do, but like hers were very visual and you could see, and it was not good, right? Like, he knew not to usually give her psychedelics, so I don't know what he was thinking, right? And I like the dude, but that was a dumb decision, right? Gave her something, and she starts she starts acting a little weird, and she got quiet, and she kept saying she was like scared, you know what I mean? Like she was freaked out or scared. And I kind of just ignored her because I was high. I was chilling, you know? I wasn't focused just all on this girl. Obviously, I couldn't predict, or I didn't know that something bad was about to happen. So my full attention was not on this girl, obviously, right? So I can tell you the exact moment this happened. I'm sitting to the left, right? This girl's sitting like in front of me to the right, then the dude, and then my other friends wherever, like to the left of me or to the right of me, right? So we announced that we're gonna get up to go soon, right? So we stand up, and I remember this clear as day. My friend was walking behind me, so he must have been to the left of me, right? And so when I stand up, I have to go down and grab my shoes because the way this dude's house worked, or not the way it worked, but we just had a system, right? We'd walk in, take our shoes off, carry it in his room because you didn't know if you'd be leaving out the front door or back door. So it's easier to just bring the shoes with you, right? So as I'm putting on my shoes, I put on my shoes and I turn around, and now we're like all single file, you know, or we would be if everybody was standing up, but it's me standing in front. My friend, like the kid that invited us over, is by the door of his room to let us out. And then the girl's sitting down, and she's like kind of sitting in the way, like her legs are across the floor. So I step over with my right foot, completely fine, right? I step over with my left foot, and this girl just directly into the side of my ankle. Like, I don't have fucking socks on, so I'm not gonna just show my feet. But let me let me show you. Right, it was like all the way down here. Right, like right above, probably this high above the ankle bone. I'm taking a step with my left foot. This girl just stabs me in the side of the leg with a knife, right? And it was bloody, but it wasn't enough to like actually stab. You know what I mean? When I say stab, it was like this is how hard she did it, right? She went like this. She went like bam, like bam. So it probably did penetrate, but it didn't like stay in there, and it wasn't like so excessive that it was like deadly or anything. But let me tell you, the immediate panic and rage that went in me when I realized what happened, I take a step over this girl, stab, immediate pain shoots, like not like insane pain, but like a sharp pain shoots up my leg, and I just look down and she's sitting there like that. Dude, I was ready to just go bam, right? Like I was so ready to just start going nuts on this girl's face, right? But I didn't. I didn't even hit her, right? I probably could have gotten away with that and maybe should have, but I didn't, right? I just pushed her off of me, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck, right? And this dude's parents are home, so obviously, I mean, didn't want to cause a huge scene, and I didn't want to look at it because I'm hugely scared of blood, right? Like, almost pretty much a phobia, right? Like, I hate blood. So I knew it was bleeding. I didn't want to look at it. We're walking out, and his parents are standing, but they don't really know what's going on. I'm like, all good. I gotta go home, right? We go out to the car, dude. I like 1 foot run out, hop. I'm expecting my leg to be like just pouring blood out, you know, because this bitch just stabbed me with a knife in the leg, right? Like enough to where the tip would go in, but nothing else, right? And she didn't twist or anything. She just was like, eh. Dude, I get to the car and I had pants on, and I roll the pants up. I'm like freaking out, waiting to see this. And I felt pain when I lifted my leg up, like when it brushed over it. So I was real scared to look at it, right? And my friend's sitting right there, and I'm like, yo, bro, is it bad? Is it bad? Is it bad? And I show him, and he's like, nah, nah. And he's kind of like looking at it, you know what I mean? Like he's inspecting it. So I get my senses about me, and I get a breath in. I'm like, and I'm like, okay, you got to look at it, you know? And I take a look, and it was I would say like a gash or a cut, a little deep cut, but it didn't need stitches, and it wasn't like pouring blood. It was definitely bleeding, and it was like an incision, right? Or not an incision. I guess that's when they like cut down, right? I don't know what you would call it, but it was like if you fell off your bike like pretty much full speed and had like a small cut somehow. Like it was like that, but on my leg, and you could tell like something sharp went in, dude. It was so gross. It scared me, and but it wasn't horrible, you know what I mean? It was just not good. And I went home, and I didn't want to tell my mom, like, hey, Mom, I got stabbed. So I go upstairs, to the bathroom, and there's hydrogen peroxide, there's nothing else, pretty much. I got the shower and hydrogen peroxide, and I'm sitting on my, sink, because the sink is, like, attached to a counter, So I'm sitting there with my whole leg up on, and it's a white counter, and there's just blood on my leg, and I'm looking at it thinking, how the fuck am I going to clean this, right? And I was so scared. So I go downstairs, right, because I was too scared to just pour hydrogen peroxide in there. I grab, a couple paper towels, and I keep folding them up till it's like a really thick square, and I just douse the thing in hydrogen peroxide, and I just push it on my leg, dude. And let me tell you, it burnt. Okay, usually it's just cold, but when it's a big cut, that thing burnt, dude. Or not a cut, a stab wound. I don't even know. But like, what do you do in that situation? I mean, it's a good thing I didn't sock her, right? Like, someone tell me that was a good thing, but I probably should have, because that's uncalled for. I mean, I didn't even like trigger anything. If I was being a dick, then maybe not that it would be okay, but maybe it would be deserved. Maybe it'd be like, oh yeah, he deserved to get stabbed. But I didn't say anything mean about this girl at all, right? Like, I know I just described her and said some not cool things, some details I probably didn't need to share, but like I said, I had a knife in my leg for a quick second, so, I don't really care. But alright, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you sub, share, like, comment, all that. Don't get stabbed. It's not fun. And I'm lucky that it wasn't bad. But thank you guys for watching. Check out my other videos, gaming videos, puppy videos, and peace out.